take this value, if we take this value, if we take this value, this time is time is this, whether we are getting 14. You can see we are getting 14, 14 to 83. So if function is a powerful tool or Excel formula, which you can choose to communicate to Excel, and they will give you whatever you want. Or maybe you are doing like if you have checked this, you can even use the if function to give the remarks, because most of the time when we are working on the reports, we normally give the remarks. Like you have been asked to give the remarks on the report. Assuming this is your report, and anything below the target, then you can you can say the target not achieved or the target achieved. Assuming that the sales manager has given us a target that you should achieve 1,000 plus. That is the sales target. But now you find that there are other people which they have not achieved the target here, and you want to give the remarks. So you can use the if function to give the remark. So how? So you will say like equals if this value is greater than 1,000, is greater than 1,000, comma, what value if it is true? What the value if it is true, we say target achieved. Target achieved. How do we write achieved? Target achieved, comma, or not achieved. If the value is not true, we can say it not achieved. Not achieved. But now, remember, you have to look at the difference between the two formula. The one we do the calculation, and for this one is a text function. This one is a text function. This one is a text function. So if the text function, we have to start with the quotation. So you start with what? Two quotation, which I will open the opening quotation, and also I will close with the what? Ending quotation, which is that one. The same case with not achieved, the second option. I will open the quotation and then close the quotation. And then now you close the bracket, you close the bracket and hit enter. You can see this one will say not achieved because this one is below our target, because this one is below our target. So you can use Excel you can use the if function to communicate with Excel. And then also once you have done that, you just need to double click here. They will copy paste downward, and you can see you have the achieve and not achieve, achieve and not achieved. So that one of the use of this advanced if function. So it is not limited to that. We also use when it comes to the reconciliation. We also use it when it comes to the reconciliation. When it comes to the reconciliation. So let's go back to a system like we're using QuickBooks to extract the data, and then from there we can do the reconciliation of a bank. We see how we use it to do reconciliation, bank reconciliation, to do bank reconciliation. So I will stop this and open to my system here, QuickBook. So let me open the QuickBook. So let's give a minute. I will close this one. We'll open a new company, another company. There is another company. Now, I want to extract the bank ledger. Maybe you have you know how to extract the bank ledger. So assuming we are doing a reconciliation for the last financial year, you're working in an audit firm and then you want to test the bank reconciliation of the last year. So you'll go to the bank ledger and then extract the ledger report for the last financial year. Let's put the last financial year. Export Excel. Export Excel. Export this. Now I think I've exported that Excel file. So let me share it. Excel file. So this is an extract of the ledger from the QuickBook. It's the same, whichever the system you're using. We can stop this. So I hope you can be able to see this Excel. Let me share. Maybe, yeah, this one. Now, so if you extract Excel in a QuickBook or any software, you find that the data has not been arranged. The data has not been arranged. So you have to rearrange your data. For example, you find that here we have some empty columns, and also maybe some empty rows. Even though I'm not seeing some empty rows here, there's no some empty rows. And when we are doing reconciliation, remember the systems like QuickBook, if you extract the ledger, you find that we have the mixed amount here. We have the negative, which are the payments. We have the positives, which are the deposits. So we find that they are mixed. So we use if function to separate the two data so that you can have the deposits and the credit side, or the debit and credit, so that we can have the same data as bank. So, but first we need to rearrange our data here. We need to delete some empty rows here or some empty columns. How do we do that? We did that one tukifanya introduction. Tulisema tuna yes. Do you still remember? We forget. We said we have a formula called control G. We have a formula called control G. If you click this control G, you will be able to get a dialog box. So like control G, you will be able to get this box. This box will enable you to do what? To select the empty columns or rows. So you go to the special. From the special, you select the blanks. So once you select the blanks, they will be able to what? To select for you the blanks columns. So once you have the selected blank columns, what do you do? Key in control negative. So you key in control negative, and then you have this option. You will get this option. You will get this option. So once you have these options, once you have these options, what do? We need to delete empty columns. So we need to delete empty columns. So you will see delete empty columns and then click OK. So you realize I've deleted the empty columns. So we no longer have now such kind of data that we have the empty columns and empty rows. Now, so we need now to separate this data. We need to separate this data. We will do what? Right click, insert the two columns. Insert the two columns. This side, you can say this is payments. Credit is the deposit. These are the credits, or we call it deposits. Deposit. Now, deposit. Now we need to extract. So nita apply aje ile function. Juu nilikuwa nimekuonyesha how to use it if function to communicate to Excel. Now we need to extract the payments is negative and the deposit is positive. So anything which is more than 0 will be positive. Anything which is less than 0 will be payment. So we need to communicate to Excel. We will use if function equals if this value is less than 0. Hiyo ni less than ama ni greater than? Is that less than or greater than? Okay, we will see. Comma, if the value is true, we want Excel to do what? To give me that value. I want Excel to give me that value, comma. And then if it is not true, we want Excel to return us a 0 value. We want Excel to return us a 0 value. So I will put a 0 value there and then close the bracket, enter. You can see now. So because it is true, this is not this value, so which means in greater than, so it should be the opposite. That one, less than. So you change that to the less than, put enter. Now you can see I'm getting the value. So what do? I need just to copy the formula here. Alt, we say it for you to copy the values as values or formula. Just a minute. There's people saying that the link is inactive. No. Isaac, you have managed to join.
Yes, I've managed.
So we were doing we started the if function, and we have seen two scenarios of if function. Now we are seeing it on how to use the if function to separate the payment on a bank ledger account. So we have extracted this ledger from the QuickBook, and we have, maybe I can repeat it so for the purpose of you. So you to repeat everything here, you just, or to go back using Excel, you use Control Z. Control Z is to undo. So I can click Control Z. I will do everything up to that point. So this, we just extracted this data from the QuickBook, and it is basically the bank ledger. Now we have said if you extract any data from any this accounting software, you find that it is not arranged vizuri. Utapata kuna some empty values, some empty columns mahali, and you want to delete it. So instead of using it manually, the way I know you people are using it, like deleting it manually like this, it will take you time, assuming you have a large data. Yeah, so it will take you time. So instead, we say you select the specific row you want to delete the empty columns. So once you select that, you key in. Control G. Control G will give you this dialog box, which is the smallest one. And then from there, you go to the special. Go to the special, and then there is a blanks. So when I click your blanks, and then when I click OK, they will select the blanks or the empty columns automatic. So once you select, tunataka delete. So you can right click your cursor and you will find the delete option. But me, I don't want to use that. I want to use a shortcut key, control negative. So if I click control negative, I will be able to get again this small dialog box. And then now in this case, we want to delete the entire column. So I will click entire column and then click OK. So automatically itakuwa delete the entire column zenye ziko empty. So now I don't have any empty column. And then in that case, this bank ledger account in our system has the combination of a deposit and the payment. So we want to separate using the if function. We want to separate using the if function. So I will insert two columns here. I will insert two columns here, and then right the other side payment, and the other side is deposits, unless you people have been doing reconciliation using the system. So it is recommended to use Excel so that if someone do the system and make the changes, you have a backup of a reconciliation in your Excel. So here now we will use the if function. If this value is less than 0, comma, we need this value, comma, if it is false, what do we want Excel to give us? 0. Want Excel to give us 0, and then close the bracket. Excel will give you exact value. Now we need to copy the formula across, or you can click Control R. Control R will copy paste the formula across. If you click Control R, you can see, but we are getting the same value. We are getting the same value. If you are getting the same value, it will take us back to the relative reference and absolute reference. Have you learned? Tumeshafundisha hiyo kweli? Yes. So there is this function in Excel, which is more powerful. You need to know how to use this function called F4. Una function iko hapo kwa keyboard imeandikwa F4. Sometimes that F4 will not work alone. You have to combine with Fn. So in this case, maybe if you want to copy the formula across, then you have to decide which value should be constant. The value which should be constant here is G3. G3 should be constant. It should not move to H3. It should station in G3. Na isikuwe station tu, lazima juu ukidrag down, iende down, lazima pia ita-copy down. Like niki scroll hivi, itafiti, inakuja in that case, you can see. But inafaa tena ukikopi iende across, ina-copy the same. So lazima ukuje hapo uangalie. You make sure that you only have one dollar sign, na hiyo dollar sign ikuwe inaanza, si ati ikuwe zote mbili. So you press Fn plus F4. If I press that, I get $2 sign, but I want just one. So I still press it. Sitaki ya katikati, nataka ikianza. So yes, that is it. And then press enter. Now, if I select this Control R, I will be able to get my formula here, Control R, still getting the same. Now we need to change here to more than that, and then we will get our value ikiwa 0. Now we have so many options in Excel. You can decide to select this, double click this one, they will copy paste everything downward, or you select this, Control Shift page down. Unaona hiyo inaenda sana, so hatutatumia hiyo. So that one will not good, hatutatumia hiyo. So it is better we select this, double click that. Imekataa paste, unless you have to select that one. So select that one up to this down, should be able to get the total payments and the total deposits. But we can't see any payment here. Why is it this one is not picking? If G for 140, it's not giving us. The other part should not giving us. Let's go back to our formula. Let's go back to our formula here. See if that one, if G3 is less than, give us that formula. Let's undo this first. We see. Why is it that we are not picking this one? Unless this is it has a contaminated value. That is the most of the Excel, it has some condemnation or itakuwa imekuwa interrupted. So let's repeat the formula. If this value is greater than 0, comma, we need this one, or you give us a 0 and then enter. So that is it. Let's see whether it is picking up to this point. Yeah, so I think this one is this a 0 or O? Yeah. So I think this one is working. So we can now use this one downward here up to that point. And then from there, we delete the other column. We delete the other column. Control X to cut, Control V to paste, and then we delete this column. So now we have the debit and deposit and the payment. We get the sum of this, the total. Which formula of Excel, the shortcut keys we use to get the sum? I know you people know how to use equals, sum, and then you double click, and then you start going upward there. So that is not the way to go. You select the two, key in Alt equals sign. Alt equals sign, it will be able to get you the sum. Alt equals sign will be able to get you the sum very quickly. So we say to use the Alt plus equals sign. This is for the what? This is for the summation. This is for the summation. Now you can be able now to see this is the total payment and this is the total deposit. From here, compare with what you have in your statement, and I know you know how to do reconciliation, which you will write balance as by the ledger, balance as the bank. If there's any other thing, you just need to know that I don't teach you the other part of the reconciliation. So I know you know that, but this is how you can separate the total deposit and the total payment and the total payment. So unless there is a question there, then we can move to the next. So if there is any question there, then we can move to the next. We said today we are going to look at this if function and the if function and the date manipulation. So, but the date manipulation, we will finish with it. So let's look at another version of the if function. So I will stop this. Go back to the original data yetu ilikuwa hapo easy. So tusema if function is that we have what is called the nested function, and then we have another, this one we have done to this, tuliangalia hapa zote, and then we have done to this. So this if function is so powerful. So you can use to do commission, to do the commission, because we have been told that remember, like for example, any person which is above 1,000 in the sales, it is eligible to get a commission of 10%. So you will apply that one here. If value is greater than 1,000, this value is greater than 1,000, what do we want to do? We take that value times a commission of 20%, 10%. Kuna kampuni zinapeana commission of 20% kweli, 10%. And then you close the bracket. Or what if it is false, you give us a 0 and then to close the bracket. So you should be able to get the commission of each and every person, and you can see Here you should be able to get commission very easily. Can be able to get commission very easily. So from now onward, you need to start using this if function to help you. Which when we will look at another application of this if function, but today, maybe the next class, how to develop a payroll using if function alone. So we will use the if function to develop the payroll. We will use it to develop the payroll, which in this case now, we will introduce another if function here called or and. So we have another function called or, and we have another one called and. This one, they are being used together with what? The if function. They are being used together with the if function. They are being used together with the if function. So how do we use that one? How do we use that one? This one now you are comparing two scenarios. This one you are comparing two scenarios. Let me cut this. Paste it here. Assuming now we want to compare the number of units, we will give you commission if you do what? If you achieve certain number of units, or we will get the sum, or anything like if you achieve certain number. Remember, we are comparing, assuming that we are comparing the units and the sales. So we want to compare two scenario. Hapa tulikuwa tu moja, tulikuwa tunatumia sales peke yake. But now we want to introduce to compare within what? The if. So to say if this one is greater than 1,000 and the other one is greater than 50, you get a commission of 10%. So how do we use now if or? So let's try and. Let's try and. So we will introduce here. You can say the second, this is the second commission or commission 2. Commission 2. So I'm just showing you how it's being used, but when you get a project, it is also, you can use it in any project, so long as you know the functionality of the question of the function itself. So we can say if, and then inside we bring in and, and then our logical function, we will say the first one, if this one is greater than 50, this one is greater than 50, comma. The second logical function is also if this one is greater than 1,000, is greater than 1,000. And then what do you do? It's asking you to close the bracket and then put enter. And then after putting enter, it asks you what value if it is true. So value if it is true, takes for us this sales times 10%, times 10%. Takes for us that sales times 10%. And then it asks us value, so comma, value if it is false, give us a 0. Value if it is false, give us a 0. Let's see. You can see I'm also getting the same results. Let's compare whether we are getting the same commission. So if we get the total of this one is 898. What about this one? This one is 879, which means there is one which they have not achieved 50 units. So for example, this one is the same. This one is the same. So we have an example here. They have not achieved the 50 unit. You can see this one is 40 units. And then do we have another one? Do we have, and I think that is the only one. So you can see the variance here. This minus this, which is 108. So this is our variance. So you can see how you can use the if function with another function, with another function. So if it mean and it mean here the two conditions must achieved. So and inasema you must achieve the two conditions. For example, this is 1080. So 1,000, we have achieved 1,000, but we have not achieved 50 units. We have not achieved 50 units. That's why it is not picking the commission. Now we want to introduce or. So or inasema either one. So kama hii ikiachieve 1,000, we will just get that commission. So or inamaanisha either one. So we can't have that here. The same formula. I will copy the same formula here, control, and then control at V, and then paste the formula. Paste the formula. I copy here commission 3, and then here now I change, instead of and, I introduce another one called or, and then enter, paste the formula. Inamaanisha we have something to change here. Yeah, so it should be F. This one should be F2, and then what else? A G2. This one should be G2. Yeah, and then I copy paste downward. I should be able to see whether I'm getting 898 here. So I should get 898. Now this one is oh no, we have to change this H. This one should be G also. So we also have because I don't want to be doing it manually. I want to be using some of the advanced or some of the Excel functions so that you can know how to use it. So tukisema tunajifundisha tu if function, you don't just go direct and learn to the if function. So kuna other formulas, small formulas, which you need to know. Like for example, I have made a mistake here. I have put H2 instead of G2. So if I have made a mistake, I don't need to be going here and changing it manually. And yet you have an Excel formulas which does that for you. So what do? You select that, key in Control F. Control F is to find and replace. So you can come here, say find and replace H2. H2 we replace with G2. We replace with G2. We replace with G2 and say replace all. So say all done. We made a replacement of 6 replacement. Okay. And then place. It's not replacing. Or we can say H. H. Replace with G. Replace all. Done. So that one is now working. So you can see. Yes, so we have the total here, which is 898, which is the same with this. So or inamaanisha if one is achieved, itachukua 2. So that one I will ask you. I will give you an assignment to develop the payroll using the if function. So I've taught you the formulas which you only need to use to develop the payroll calculator. How to calculate payee, how to calculate NHIF, how to calculate NSSF, housing levy. What else do we have? Yeah. So these are the only functions which can enable you to develop this. So I'm giving you an assignment before our next class. That is what? For Tuesday. Our next class is Thursday. Everyone to develop for me a payroll calculator. That is assignment for you now. Si nimekuonyesha vile if function inatumika. Yes? It is very simple. It is just communicating with Excel. Like, how do we, let me show you how you will develop it. So utaenda kwa, if you are doing the payroll in your company, then you have the scales. But if you are not doing, then you can get the scale rate. You go to the this website called, where we can get all the rates, which call what do we call it? RN software. So if we click the RN software, pay RN software, let me share the screen. Because me, I want to teach you Excel on how to apply it in practical. I don't want to teach you Excel. They have millions of formulas, but you don't need to use it to use all of them. So if we click the RN software here, you'll be able to get the pay calculator. From here, go to the tax rate. Go to the tax rate. From the tax rate, we need the current tax rate. We don't need for 1st July 2023. We need the current one, which is, where is it? The current one. Yeah, the current one is the one with 500, above 500,000. 500,000. This is from June up to, yeah, this one. It was effected from 1st July 2023. So you will copy this, just copy that, Control C. Once you copy that, the same case with the NHIF, NSSF, we have all the rates here. In fact, we have the new one also, SHIF or SHIFA. So you can't copy all of them. So once you have copied that, you go to your Excel, go back to your Excel. I hope this was my Excel. Yeah, go back to your Excel, copy that tax bracket. So you can see, now we have our tax bracket here. We have our tax bracket here. So with the knowledge I've given you on how to use the if function, you can be able to automate your payroll using this tax bracket. So I'm giving you a challenge. Go and do it before we look at. So it is very simple. So utakuwa unaangalia, first get the cumulative value. So what you need to know before even you start using the if function, you need to know how to calculate payee manually. Ukitumia kalamu. Unajua sisi tumezoea system mpaka hata tunashindwa kucalculate payee. Like nikikwambia Isaac ana earn 530,000. This is the gross salary. Utaikalculate aje? Isaac, hizi salary zako tutaisubject aje kwa hii tax bracket?
Tutachukua the first 24. And then we go to, after that, the remainder.
So for example, tutachukua the first 24. We do what? We multiply by
10.
We multiply by 10%. So let's copy this one or convert this one to percentage. You have to divide. Just use this one. Saying this 10%. So we multiply by 10%. The other one.
And do we less the relief first, or we go to the 8 next?
So you go to the next. Let's first change this one to 30. And then the other one is 32. 32.5. And then the other one is 35. This one is 35. Okay, so you have already tax 24. So out of this 500,000, 530,000, you have subtracted 24. 24. So that's how 24. Now, so you have to look at, remember we don't use the annual. So I can even delete for the annual, yes, use for the monthly. And then you will come here and say, now, the range here, in a range between, from, already tumeshamalizana now. So from now, 24,001 to 32,333, we take how much? 25%?
It's about 25%.
25%. So you will take the difference. So you will say 32,333 minus 24,000, whichever you are getting here as a different, whichever you are getting here, let me put this one here. Yeah, whichever you are getting here as a difference will come here. and then you multiply by that rate of 25%, which if I copy this, and then I say equals, copy this, or I equate with this, then I'll just say 32,333 minus 2,400, 24,000. So the value is what? 833. 333, which we will multiply by 25%. 25% to get a pay of 2083.25. So that is now we still, so up to this we have already used 33,000 because hapa tumeshatumia ukiklik hizi already tumetumia 32,300. So still the balance here, so if I take 32,333, if I take this minus this, I still have the balance of 497,000, which that 497,000 also will fall into the third tax bracket, which I will come here, which I will take 500,000 minus 32,333. So that the difference in this value is the one which I will take to the here. Then I get this one as a difference, which I will multiply by 30%, to give me the pay of 140,300. So if I do the cumulative of this, I can see I've used already. This one is exactly 500, right?
500.
Yes. So which means out of 500, we are only remaining with 30,000. Yes. So 30,000 will now fall under the fourth bracket. The fourth bracket. We don't need even to subtract, which I will come here and take the 30,000 times 932.550. So for me now, if I want to get the total pay of Isaac before relief, I will get the sum of this. This one will give me the pay before relief. And then I subtract the relief of 2,400. I subtract the relief of 2,400. This one, I get the pay of 152, 133. Given that if this is taxable pay, remember, if this is a gross, then this pay will change. If this one is taxable pay, this one is the taxable pay. This one is the taxable pay. So you need to, before you introduce the if function, you need to know how to calculate pay first manually in that case. So that now you will bring now if function to automate your work. Right?
Right.
Yeah. So in that case, for you, so that you don't get the complication of the if function, it is good that you just omit the first one. This one is the same because this one at the end of it will be 0 because we still have the personal relief here of what? Of the same amount. So this one will cancel. This one will cancel. So in that case, you can get accumulative pay. Let's try to get the accumulative pay here. So which I will assume this one is 0 because nimesema hiyo 24 ita cancel na personal relief. So I will get cumulative, say this plus this, which I get the first one to there, and then if I drag it this one down, so I will get this one as 143. 143. So assuming now we are not doing for 550,000, we are not doing this one. So you'll have to get the cumulative here. So I will come here and say 800,000. 800,000 minus 500,000. What will be the difference? The difference will be 300,000. So I will say 800,000 minus 500,000. Yeah, 300,000. I multiply by ilikuwa kwa that. Yeah, this one I multiply by 32.5. We get that value. Now this one we will not multiply by that 5 because we have been told anything above 800. So let's get the cumulative value here. So we are getting the cumulative value. Yeah, should be that cumulative value would be that. So mpaka hapo sasa wewe ujipange na like 100,000 minus the 20.
We have made a mistake.
Hii ni 3 million.
Yeah. It should be 300.
That one is 800. This one is 800. Yeah. So this one, yeah. So it will be this one. So the cumulative value is this one. So for only if I was now to calculate for 530,000, I know up to 500, I only need to pay 140, 142, 142. Up to 500, I only need to pay 142. What about the extra of 30? Which the extra of 30 will take 32. So nitakuja hapa na hiyo ni net. So I will take the extra of 30,000 times 32 times 32.5%, which will give me this one. And then so I will say now equals to this plus this. I will get a net of 52. So this is the value it will go to me pattern before. So you will use these last values to code your Excel so that they can calculate for you the payroll, the payee. So it will be very easy. It will be very easy. You'll just come here and say equals. If the Excel you are using, assuming our pay it equal kwa column or equal kwa I. So I will say if this I is greater than 800,000, is greater than 800,000, that is the first one, comma, what do you want Excel? I want Excel to give me the cumulative figure, which is 339,888.35, comma, and then, or you can say if it is greater than 800,000, I want Excel to give me that, to take that value minus 800,000 minus 800,000, you close the bracket, and then you multiply by 30, 35%, 35%. And then so once you do that, you add the cumulative figure plus the plus 239,883.35, and then you close your bracket, enter. So if we put here 900,000, are we getting the pay there? 900,000 in ngapi? Yeah, so the 900,000, you should be able to get a pay of 297,000, which is the net value. Let's assume, let's check these 900,000 in this other website page, which they use to calculate the pay. Go back to Google Chrome. Let's come back here. They calculate pay. But that one we haven't factored in the, remember we have taxable allowable like NHIF and NSF. That is NSF, those for 200. So let's say the taxable amount here is 900,000 for one period. This is 900,000. Calculate, but you know this one will factor in. This one they have factor in but it is here. This is 270, 274, 833. Copy this value, go back to your Excel. Go back to your Excel. This one. Go back to Excel, copy here. You check whether it is the same value. So you can see it is the same value.
Yes, I can see.
There is no different. So that one now I give you an assignment to code. Remember, we have taken only the higher side. So what if we now have the employees which they don't have a threshold of the taxable income? We have other earning 8,000, 3,000, what and what. So that is an assignment I've given you before the next class. You'll be able to know that one, right?
Yes.
So unless there is a question, I can see maybe because of inconvenience, most of the students, they have not trained, but I don't want even to introduce the date manipulation. So maybe I can give you a time you go to digest that and just get any list of the employees. You will have to develop the payroll, the name, the basic pay. In fact, I only need the basic pay, the names and the basic pay. So make sure at least you have 10 employees, and then you will have the pay here, and then NSSF or first, you will not taxable pay, and then a pay, NSSF, NHIF, and AHL. So you will be able to develop using the if function, and you'll be able to develop your payroll. So I think that is, we can stop there from today. But sorry, nimekuwa late leo. Hizi kufile hizi pay na NHIF. Remember today is deadline. So the system zimekuwa zikitusumbua. That's why as a class late, but it is better late than never, si ndio? We have done something. So we start late, but we have done something more important. So also I will share this video. Ulipata the last video?
Nilipata.
Yeah, so I will share this one also. So thank you, and then so I can stop there. I know it is late.
Thank you. I've enjoyed the lesson.
You too. So, anything which you are not getting, it is good to ask. Because a class with an interactive session, that is even me, I will be able to know more, because maybe there's something which you know, but I don't know. So it is good also to share if we use this way. So nobody is just perfect. So, okay, thank you, and have a good night.